Star Wars Jedi Survivor has a total of 5 lightsaber stances in the game, and in this video I'll be going over everything you need to know about them so far, so make sure you stick around until the end of the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel to never miss a piece of Jedi Survivor news. As I said, there are 5 stances in the game that we'll be able to make use of, and they are the single blade, double blade, dual wield sabers, crossguard blade, and finally a stance where we'll be able to use a blaster whilst using a single bladed lightsaber. At the start of Jedi Survivor, we'll have the options to use the single blade, double blade and dual wield, with the crossguard and blaster stances coming to the game later on during the story. Now it's worth saying that despite having a total of 5 stances in Jedi Survivor, you can only use 2 at a time, and these can be changed at meditation stations. So that means if you want to use the single blade and double blade like in Fallen Order, then you can, or you could have the blaster stance and the dual wield. The choice really will be up to us, which I think is awesome. Also, at the meditation stations, we'll be able to spend skill points like in the first game, but instead of one giant skill tree, we'll have 7, 5 of which are dedicated to the lightsabers, so one tree for each stance. Like Fallen Order, I think it's fair to assume that the skill trees will grant us new combos and abilities for each stance, like for example the ability to throw lightsabers. Unlike Fallen Order though, I doubt each skill tree will be as big as the one in that game, as that's pretty unrealistic, so instead of one big one, we'll likely have 7 smaller ones, and even then it's more than what we got in the first game, so it's great to see that progression. So that's all of the generic information surrounding lightsabers, but now I'll go over what we know about each stance specifically. To me, the single blade looks very similar to that of Jedi Fallen Order, and I really don't blame Respawn for that at all, as it worked perfectly in the first game, and I don't see why Cal would have changed it up too much in 5 years either. It's said that the single blade is an all-rounder stance in the game, dealing medium damage at medium range. As for the double blade, this looks completely different to what we got in Fallen Order. It's still very much a tool for crowd control in Jedi Survivor according to IGN, but the animations to me look so much nicer and more interesting to use. As it's more of a crowd control stance though, it's apparently a bit slower than the single blade and likely will deal less damage, but for destroying weak enemies like the B1 battle droids it will come in very handy. The dual wield stance is therefore the first new lightsaber stance that we'll be able to make use of in the game, and it's said to be a bit of a glass cannon, which means that whilst we'll be able to attack faster and likely deal more damage per second, we'll also be taking more damage compared to the other stances. The dual sabers is also said to be a stance that allows players to rely on reflexes, so instead of having to commit to an attack, they can actually pull out of it. Next we have the crossguard lightsaber. This is described by Respawn as the highest risk stance because it's slow in its attacks and has the shortest range of all the stances, but it does however deal the most damage. So like the dual sabers, it's very much a risk versus reward scenario. Finally, we have the blaster stance, which obviously will have the most range in the game because of the blaster, but it's seemingly not something that will be able to just pick off enemies at range, because as Respawn puts it, it's still a melee combat game first and foremost. Very little has been said and nothing has been shown about the blaster stance yet as of me making this video, so it will be very interesting to see how it plays out whenever they decide to show it off. Anyway guys, that pretty much covers everything you need to know about all 5 lightsaber stances in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. As we get more news on the game, I will of course be sure to let you know, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That is it from me today guys, thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.